Hello everybody, welcome to my channel, Benefit of the Doubt, where we give bad media the benefit of the doubt. Because I think all art has value. I think there's no such thing as like a bad movie or truly bad TV show. There's just art that hasn't been explored in a way that truly resonates with the audience that it is targeting.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
First on the docket is the Mormon Queen herself, Miss Stephanie Meyer, and her book, The Host, that was adapted into a very not good movie. The book wasn't perfect, but the movie, you know when it's like, you take something that's like okay and make it worse? Like, I think that's what happened. Like Vampire Diaries, like the books were fine, and then like Julie Plec was like, let's elevate it by like grounding it, you know what I mean? And there were things that I definitely didn't like, racism, but there were things that I really did like, which was like the world building. I thought that was really fun. Now back to Miss Mormon Princess. Now, like, we all know that unhinged people make good art all the time, and then they get exposed for being unhinged because they tell them themselves in the art or after the art, and sometimes after the art, and then it reveals that in the art they were always problematic, which makes it hard for us as consumers of the art to then remove them from the product that they have provided us. Exhibit A, Exhibit B. We are not surprised, yes? Okay, so the microaggressionistic, elitist Mormon religious woman is not worth examining, but her book that she wrote for vibes, yeah, let's deep it for him. Because honestly, even the way she wrote the book was kind of crazy. She said she was on a road trip with her kids and they were on their phones the whole time, and then she literally thought up the entire book on that road trip, which if you read those chapters where Melanie and Wanda are on the road, you can really tell, because those chapters drag. They have all these worlds, like the bear world and the swamp looking place, like, and fire world and whatever. How we got all of those was probably through her imagination running wild because her kids wouldn't talk to her for however many hours she was road tripping. Anyway, back to the story. An alien species has taken over humans inhabiting their bodies and improving their way of life, which theoretically is great, but like the way it's framed is a little like culty. So that already tells me what I need to know. And in true Stephanie Meyer fashion, that is just to platform a strange toxic love triangle framed as a love story for the ages.
That pissed me off for real. Why do you act like that?
Like what?
The way that you act.
I love the sci-fi setting. I think this is the coolest world that she's ever built, if I'm honest. I think she's done this thing where she's created a world where there are people of differing opinions and you can take whoever side you want. Obviously, you can see which side she's on. That's fine. She still is able to show other people without villainizing them, which is nice. You can be like, wow, I definitely disagree with you, Steph, but thanks for giving everyone else a platform. I think it's the one thing that has allowed her to continue to make stuff that people want to consume.
I need to give credit where credit is due.
Contrary to how it sounds like I feel about love triangles, I actually really enjoy well-executed love triangles that like build tension and cause conflict in a way that truly drives the story or moves the plot in captivating directions, which I know goes against Maya's reputation, but this love triangle was handled with more grace than I've seen her handle most things. You know, I think with Twilight, it was quite evident that it was never going to be Jacob. Even the way that she created him was to be this kind of like sacrificial lamb, which is probably why she made him an animal in the first place. And it's not perfect because, as always, pedophilia. Stop. Yeah, so fun and fresh. Wanderer, Wanda for short, is an alien parasite who is placed in the body of 19-year-old Melanie Strider, who tried to herself to avoid the exact circumstance that we find her in at the beginning of the story. So the two have somewhat of a platonic enemies to lovers kind of arc, and I think I really enjoy the way she executed that because they really truly hate each other. Like, Wanda literally eats all of Melanie's like hate foods, like the stuff that makes Melanie feel sick. And at first, it was truly just to spite Melanie. Like, she had no interest in tasting these chips, but she was like, you don't like them? I love them. Thank you. Go. At some point in the story, there's always like a turning point in stories like these. They both start to understand each other's perspectives and even end up defending actions of their opposing forces.
He tried to kill her. And for some unknown reason, she saved his sorry ass.
It's not saying he did.
You're the one who has to live under the same roof.
Melanie's family becomes Wanda's found family, and Wanda's nature becomes the bedrock on which Melanie's family relies on to not only survive but also claim their own like mini victories in this war. You know, I think the way that Wanda sees the world rubs off on Melanie's family, and the way that Wanda experiences Earth is enriched by seeing how hard humans fight for each other when love is involved.
You are the purest soul, human or not, that I've ever met.
Now, of course, this would be interesting enough on its own. But what is a Stephanie Meyer novel without romance and love triangles? Nothing. Hollow. Empty. Jared is the far too old for Melanie love interest. When we meet him, he is 26 and she's 19. But when they met, he was 24 and she was 17. Do you see the problem? Oh, yeah, exactly. Why a 24-year-old would be interested in a 17-year-old is very far beyond me, but that is the situation we found ourselves in this story. Since Wanda has been placed in Melanie's body, she starts to inherit Melanie's feelings for Jared and is not helped by the visceral memories Melanie just keeps forcing onto Wanda. Obviously, Melanie is trying to implore Wanda to protect her family. An interesting part of this internal struggle is when Wanda meets Jared for herself. She gets beat up, beat down. Like, the abuse that she undergoes in the book was like really hard to read because it goes on for a lot longer than it does in the movies. Seeing it in the movie and Saoirse Ronan's acting, I kind of filled in the blanks that the movie didn't, having read the book. It's a hard read in that particular part. A lot of I feel like it needed a trigger warning, but I was 12, so I didn't know what it would entail even if there was a trigger warning. So yeah, it's a hard read. I don't really suggest 12-year-olds pick that book up, but I did. And so she gets like beat around and still can't shake what Melanie feels for Jared, even though she herself is terrified of Jared. When you're consistently feeling these like very overwhelming feelings of love for someone that scares you, it's a lovely internal conflict for the character. Both characters, actually. In a situation like this, it can teeter on the line of goofy and dumb, especially when you describe it like as plainly as Wanda is now in love with her oppressor, when that's not necessarily the case. There is a strong distinction between what Wanda feels because of Melanie and what Wanda feels as herself.
Whatever happens, happens. Just tell him I'm here. Tell him I love him. I'm afraid.
The line can get blurred for them, but you as the reader and the viewer can always see where the line is. Once again, in true Maya fashion, everyone needs a happy ending, which entails having a love interest for Wanda when Melanie finally gets her life back. That's how we got Rasputin, remember? Let's go. Jacob can't have no one. Like, yes, actually, Jacob can frolic off into the sunset alone, not with a child, not with a baby. In comes Ian O'Shea. Because also, like, the actor who plays him, I've been in love with him forever. Jake Abel. Truly thought I was gonna marry that man. Honestly, he's my favorite character in the whole book. I love him down, and I'm so happy. Like, I get so excited when I think about Ian O'Shea. Now, he's not great. I know. He has this aggressive way of reacting to things, which is framed as endearing, but honestly comes off very toxic and controlling and all around problematic. I was 12 and I was like, okay, you're doing a lot, sir. You're doing a lot. We, as the viewer, as the reader, are supposed to interpret this as romantic, and it's not. It's bad. But I have a really, really, really soft spot for him because he gives me major Stefan Salvatore vibes. And I love Stefan. Stefan is my boy. He gives me the Elijah feels in my chest. Like, in the sense that, you know, he goes to great lengths to make sure Wanda makes decisions based on what she wants and not based on what others want or need from her. You know, Wanda is very self-sacrificing, and she doesn't necessarily see it that way. And so because she doesn't necessarily see it that way, other people have to see it that way for her. Ultimately, she has no agency in the context of self-preservation. And a lot of people in the book take advantage of that because they feel like Wanda owes them. He's very about her autonomy, which is, once again, Stefan Salvatore. Exactly, period. The least toxic relationship in the book is the one between Jamie, Melanie, and Wanda. I love those three. That is a love triangle that I would go to war for, okay? They are so lovely. There's a clear distinction made between Melanie and Wanda, and Jamie loves them equally. Not in a naive, like, oh, he's 13 and loves everyone way, but more of a Wanda risked her life to save my sister because she cares about me too. Like, he's very aware of that distinction, and he consistently makes that distinction known to Wanda. And I guess you could reduce it to like younger people being more open to new things and fresh perspectives, but I choose to believe it's because Jamie is superior. Jamie is just better than everyone else. I feel like she does the familial stuff really, really well. And then we get to romance, and it's messy and it's toxic and it's uncomfortable. I don't like why she does that. It's not nice. And this is a huge reason why the way the relationship with Jared is handled pisses me off. Like I said, see, even me writing the script knew where me, when I record this video, was gonna go. But anyway. When I revisited this book in my 20s, it was in audiobook format. And I greatly dislike the voice actor's tonal decisions for Jamie because I don't really interpret him as whiny. I think the first time I read him, he was like, maybe because I was 12, I read him as like a 13-year-old boy that's like actually 13. But like this actor almost forgets what 13-year-olds sound like. Like no 13-year-old still talks like, nah, I don't think I should go over there. No 13-year-old talks like that. 13? Are you kidding? 10-year-olds don't even talk like that. 10-year-olds have thoughts, bro. 10-year-olds have like proper like cognitive abilities. I'm so confused. Anyway, it made me really mad because it was like this voice actor had never actually met a 13-year-old in their entire lives. I think those are all the really important relationships in the book. I think when we start to dive into the Jebs and the Docs and everything else, the movie did what it could with what it had. And I don't think any aspect of that was cut out to the point that I felt like I was missing something. But if it were to be expanded upon in like a limited series, I'd love to see an episode that's dedicated to Jeb because he's lovely. He's just a lovely character. I feel like this type of story was a little bit before its time for the audience that it was targeting when I talk about adapting it, not the novel. The novel, I think, came at the right time because it was really in that like peak of post-apocalyptic stuff and it did well. And the movie had no idea how to consolidate a book that was built for a limited series. I think this book was published at a time where limited series were not very interesting to Americans. British media and South African media, we are quite used to having a show that's like one season, maybe 7 episodes. It tells one story that maybe a film is too short to tell. But Americans and the limited series didn't really work outside the context of documentaries until the Netflix format, until streaming came into popularity in the later 2010s. And obviously this having come out in 2013, it was just too soon. But I think today, it's a different conversation. Oh my gosh, I literally, my script says something so similar. My brain and it's all me, as you can tell. There's no AI because obviously everything I'm writing is what I'm thinking. So when you have 23 hours of audiobook and a max 120-minute runtime.
But you messy, girl.
For example, Jared's importance to the community is lost in the film since they must cultivate Melanie and Wanda's story. Now, this isn't like fundamentally an issue because Wanda and Melanie are the story. However, removing this from the story removes the importance of gaining his trust and joining him for raids.
I mean, she jumped between you and
No,
Kyle.
they don't do that. Just trying to find a way to stay alive.
They're giving Kyle the go-ahead to kill her.
What the hell has gotten into everybody? It is the enemy.
You don't feel bad at all.
I have killed her. It doesn't matter. It's not human.
Jared trusts no one, least of all Wanda. So you can imagine how long it took Wanda to earn that position in Jared's graces. Melanie and Jared have a relationship that's very based in their romantic feelings for one another. They have this very fiery, electric connection, and everything that they do is for each other. And by proxy, everyone else in the community benefits from it. It's stressed in so many chapters, not only by Jeb, but by everyone else in the novel. All the reasons that make him important to the community are all the reasons he and Wanda's relationship is so compelling in the novel. There's so much complexity and continuity that's lost when you neglect the importance of Wanda's relationship with Jared. There's this like diplomatic aspect of their relationship. They have an excellent working relationship that, due to the way they meet, is misconstrued for romantic in some cases. They both represent hope for the community in different ways, and so them having a strong working relationship is really important, and how they come to that is also really important. All the relationships are so heavily intertwined. You can't miss anything. You can't lose anything. Nothing is menial enough to lose. So losing in Jared's importance to the community also minimizes the fear felt when Jared and friends leave for long periods of time. When the guys disappear for raids, it's a big deal. Those raids are really long in the books. And everyone is so terrified because if they don't come back, that means they're at risk. All the cars are gone. They're now surviving on rations. Oh my gosh. The way I wrote this is actually kind of funny. I said, like, if these guys die outside, everybody has to start counting their days and rationing whatever supplies remain. Even worse, invasion? Chai. Not only are they providers, they are the muscle. They're the first line of defense. Everyone is compromised. And the movie is like, this is really inconvenient that they're not here. That's super inconvenient. I'm like, inconvenient, please be real. That's literally the bottom of the barrel of their fears, that the kids are working the fields. The top is, if they die, we die. Like, what are we talking about? I literally say this, like, in the film, their fear and the danger feel childish, and so do the raids themselves. Literally. Thanks, girl. You summarized everything that I just said. Ian's indifference towards Wanda shifts overnight.
It's not human.
So we stop acting human?
Ian was like, no, I cannot stand you, you parasite. And then is like, oh, damn, crazy. They're like nice. They just happen to be colonizers. Which I kind of have problems with, like the whole Ian falling in love with the oppressor thing, but we move. In an effort to like make the romance happen so that we have the two couples established, they kind of just gloss over the actual relationship aspect of a relationship. They're just like, romance. And it's like, well, no, relationship. See, even here, when he tries to kill her in the book, we are stressed. Guys, I don't think you understand how stressed I was in that scene. But anyway, there was like a glimmer of remorse in his eyes. But like, she was also literally fighting to breathe oxygen at that point. So also, priorities?
Get your together. I don't care what you do. You just gotta get it together.
The book is a pretty slow burn, and so are the relationships, which means any interactions that get cut out eliminate the growth achieved through them. Then the film. Also, in the film, they kill Aaron and Brand, which absolutely retcons any part of the story they are a part of. And that really takes away from the ongoing distrust of Wanda in the community. They also both just have like great storylines, which completely get cut because there's no time. Because they are driving forces of that. Aaron and Brand and Kyle are in allegiance. They are an alliance. Having Kyle kind of be this like sole villain is a little bit impractical because it was a lot of people. The people that were for Wanda were a lot less. That's why things like that tribunal don't go her way, because there are very few people in the community that like her. She just happens to have the biggest voices like her. Not everything is not well. Like, we're not just like happily ever after now. We're just adjusting. In the book, that isn't made crystal clear, but it's at least alluded to, which would have been important to note in the film when Wanda's new body has to integrate into this new community. Wanda has a new body, but the eyes are glowing. Now, everybody hates the glowing eyes in the movie, similar to like The Darkest Minds, that like the orange people's eyes glow orange and the blue people's eyes glow blue. Well, that's not really how that works. I feel neither here nor there. As someone who read the book and then watched the movie, I was like, yeah, it makes the whole like inconspicuous part not believable because it's very conspicuous. It's very conspicuous. It is, I've never seen anything more conspicuous. Because in the books, you have to like flash a light in there to see the silver. It's like an iridescence. It's not like a pah. I generally am the worst kind of book purist there is, but when it comes to adaptations, I can always make room for changes that add to the message of the source material or convey the same message in a different way. So even though I'll say they did it differently in the books, I'll always suffix the statement with, but the film did it better. And even though I believe the film captured the energy of the books really well, if I watched the movie without reading the books, I wouldn't care about anyone in the story. To this day, a lot of my passion for this story comes from the fact that I read the book first. Her being confined to this one novel really allowed her to like focus on each and every relationship, because she only has one shot to get it right. She doesn't have another book where she can expand upon this and expand upon that. She's even said herself, she's like, I'm never gonna write more of the host. I really feel sad that the film turned out the way that it did, because I do feel like it's a waste of Jake Abel and Saoirse Ronan, because not only did they have some great on-screen chemistry, but they're also just great actors. And also the older actors in the film, I'll put their names here. Stunning performances from every single one of them for such a bland interpretation of this story. Also, why did Wanda's new body have to be 16? Why? You made that choice, Stephanie. You could have made any other choice and you made that one. Anyway, I think my next video is going to be my pitch for a host limited series. Or maybe it'll be a Teen Wolf video, because I've always wanted to talk about Teen Wolf. I have a lot of ideas, so you guys will be seeing me again and again and again. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!